Waging war on corruption. It's Alex Jones coming to you live from the front lines of the Infowar.
It is Wednesday, November 20th, 2019. I'm your host, Alex Jones, and we are going to be busy here on the broadcast today. President Trump is, as we speak, taking off from Washington, D.C. on Air Force One and beginning the trip, the 3-hour trip to Austin, Texas, where he's going to be with Tim Cook, one of our favorite people. I know I'm one of his favorite people. Mr. Crazy Eyes, head of Apple that has the worst slave factories in the world and has moved its code keys and control of its company to communist China. He's going to be here in Austin at one of the few Apple factories left in the United States in North Austin. And I am intending to go up there right towards the end of the show and leave a little bit early. Tom Pappert's going to be taking over for me. And then right into the 4th hour, Mike Adams is going to be hosting. We'll be up there giving you live coverage of that. And I do intend to deliver a message to the president via loudspeakers, via megaphone, that, okay, great, we'd like to have some factories here that don't have suicide nets around them and things. That's good. But we'd also like you, even though Ivanka and Jared are in a lip lock, with Crazy Eyes and go to dinner with him all the time, and that's admitted. I first heard that from Roger Stone like 3 years ago, and it was confirmed a couple of years later. They're going to be here in Austin. And it would just be nice to not have first Tim Cook ban yours truly and Infowars and lead the rest of Silicon Valley doing it. And then it would be nice to, have that decried or spoken out against, because now they're doing it to pro-life sites. Now they're erasing Christmas holidays and things off the Google Calendar and off the Apple Calendar. That's actually in my stack of news today. It's up on Infowars.com. Towns all over the U.S. and England are removing Christmas trees because now they're saying that's a religious symbol. It actually is an ancient Druidic Germanic symbol that was adopted by Christians. It's a heart of winter ritual of the evergreen tree, hoping that the sun comes back when you're freezing in your hut, in your little cabin or your cave or your redoubt. But they want that removed as well. New Hampshire town removes Christmas from Christmas ceremony after 2 people complain about being offended. Well, I'm offended by them. I'm offended by them, harassing Chick-fil-A and harassing us. I mean, I really, at the end of the day, as a libertarian, do not judge people for what they do in their bedrooms. But I do judge it when you use that to make it your identity and try to get access to our children and our culture and then demand all traditionalism be thrown on the fire of your petty will. And so, yes, this whole globalist leftist stratagem is evil. And at the heart of it really is pedophilia and the destruction of innocence and the destruction of the future. And so today we're going to go deeply into that fetid rabbit hole. And we're going to break down really some nightmarish information here with a very, very credible report and shocking audio of a man who was abused in satanic rituals by Bill Clinton and others when he was a child. The FBI thought this was very credible, and then the FBI agent investigating it was killed. And then some of the other people involved were all murdered in D.C. and in New York. So now the original interview has been released to True Pundit. We're going to be airing large excerpts of that. FBI interviews alleged boy rape victim of Bill Clinton, chilling details of sex abuse rituals and more. And that ties into, of course, Adam Schiff and Ed Buck and the rituals going on there. It's all coming up. Their religion is tyranny. Their religion is predatory behavior. And we need to stop being sheep and laying down to it. A lot of people ask me, Alex, why don't you yell and scream on air like you used to sometimes, as much as you did in the past? And it's because if I did that, I'd actually, overturn this desk and start ripping down the studio in here and God knows what else. I mean, I'm so angry now from the research we do on a daily basis and so focused and so awake that it's in between torture and ecstasy. I mean, I understand what's going on. I understand how to stop it. I see the master plan. I can see the globalist code. And I know who they are and what they work for. And it should be so easy to just reject this and not go along with it. But the world is full of a lot of followers and a lot of people that seek petty power over others. And we are a fallen species. We have a great potential to not be fallen and to go to the stars. We are fallen here on this planet. And it's all hidden in plain view. And we're not going to get off this planet until we start behaving like sentient beings that are not satanic, which is in our makeup, and we're able to do it. But as you can see, we don't like to do that. We like to be bad. We like to be lazy, and we like to be stupid. And it's a process. I'm certainly not perfect either, but I know I am a fallen creature. And I am seething with understanding and awakening and destiny and potential to defeat the globalist and turn the tide, just as you have that seed as well. And so I pray daily for calm and for focus and for justice and for clarity because, you know, I research probably 6-7 hours a day, normally at night and in the morning and while I'm here at work. And there's always a great overriding frustration that I am not able to ever cover all of the news in the proper context that is taking place. Let me just give you an example of 2 big articles, one of which you're going to get details of exclusively with investigative journalist Tom Pappert coming up at the bottom of the hour. Then he'll be back hosting the 3rd hour with me, and then I'm going to veer off. Trump just left about 45 minutes late, so I'll be able to finish most of my broadcast. Then I'm going to go up and deliver a message directly to the president. I don't want to say I'm going to protest the president, but I'm going to deliver a very forceful message to the president and to that demon creature he's traveling with, Tim Cook, being escorted by his daughter and son-in-law. So that's coming up. Now, when I listened to this report yesterday, and then I went and did research from previous information I had and things I've been told by high-level Defense Department, FBI, and others years ago that I never talked about on air, just because I don't like to go over all the details of how they torture these children on air. And I don't like to think about it, quite frankly. Imagine them. They really don't want to talk about it. And I listened to this individual in this 30-minute interview that was taped several years ago in the Epstein investigation. Now, the FBI had investigator groups out doing this, and the FBI agent heading it up was murdered. Of course, they tried to sweep that under the rug, and others around it were murdered. And so now they've released the first interview that was done by investigators hired by the FBI before they took the case over. So dangerous, the FBI actually hired investigators to do it so they could keep it secret from the Bureau until they got it greenlit by Trump, and then he was able to get it done. This deals with satanic rituals and blood drinking and ritualistic rape of children. And what is said here about the satanic rituals, I have never released on air for a lot of reasons, because I don't want people repeating them, and I don't want, when I get information, I want to know if people actually know what they're talking about. This is real. Now, the cherry on top of how real it is the dead FBI agent and others surrounding it. A bunch of deaths. So you know that feeling when you walk up to an edge of a cliff? When I was listening to this, I was on the edge of a cliff, and I almost had to pull over last night when I was listening to it the second time driving home at like 8 o'clock at night, because I started to want to throw up. And that was because my body was saying, kill, 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 you're bad, kill, kill. I'm not going to kill anybody. But that's a normal response, is as a man, knowing this is going on and knowing these predators are out there, my physical body was beyond angry. And then before you go into real combat or killing somebody with your bare hands, you throw up. That's not even an anxiety thing. You're just getting food out of your stomach to get down to business. And so we all need, quite frankly, therapy to even deal with this. Can you imagine being these children or these FBI agents? Okay, now we're going to go ahead and play parts of this. I really don't want to listen to it, and I know you don't want to listen to it, but it needs to air. It used to go out on radio stations and TV stations, and the really graphic stuff has been bleeped out. But this is real. You can listen to it. It's real. If you know about these rituals, it's real. And the dead FBI agent and others, it's real. Okay. So I am in a controlled rage dealing with this. And I apologize for the crew having to be around me. But that's just the way it is. So we have that. Then we have this next big report from the great investigative journalist over at National File. It's a bunch of former Breitbart folks that were being censored. Video, Pelosi's son, ex-girlfriend, claims forced abortion, abuse, weaponizing CPS, massive fraud. He denied that she was the girlfriend, but she has the text, the photos, the years of it, and all the proof has now been put out. It's a 59-minute video, and I watched this morning and became physically nauseous and disgusted as well. When you listen to what this Pelosi psychotic, this genetic psychotic, this is Nancy Pelosi's son, did, and the scams he runs, and just how out of control and how he owns the jurisdiction of San Francisco. He can do whatever he wants, and he tells people that, and there's audio of that. And by the way, this is an hour of this, and I listened to the whole thing this morning, even cut my workout short to listen to it, and they've got more tapes coming out. Now let me explain something. This is the stuff that gets you killed. And it's a major Epstein investigator that is working with Tom Pappert bringing this out. I just want to point out, we give medals to the military and everybody, and that's great. They deserve them. This is information warfare in America, and people get killed for stuff like this. Pelosi's a gangster. She kills people. So nationalfile.com, we salute you. They're the real journalists, and they've got a lot of former investigative journalists, some of the top folks from Breitbart over there. Some of them are even writing in pseudonyms. This is so dangerous. This is not a pseudonym. So we're taking the gloves off. That's what I've said everybody needs to do, and people are doing it without me telling them. Obviously, real investigative journalism, bringing down the kingpins, hitting them at point-blank range. And you can't kill us all, Hillary. You can't kill us all, Bill. You can't kill us all, Pelosi. And, Pelosi knows that. That's why they're like, oh, let's be friends with Republicans. Let's stop the calls for revolution, because they know they're losing. Let me explain something. Toots, your people start the violent revolution, and you take out some of our people, there's nowhere in the world you're going to be able to go to get away from your crimes. And I'm just going to leave it at that. And they understand that. And they were supposed to have robots and AI by now to protect them. They know all their so-called protectors literally want to slit their throats. And you're about to see them go down. Now, it's going to be spectacular. It's going to be explosive. It's going to be super dangerous. And a lot of people aren't going to be here in the fight who were in the fight on the other side of this. But that really doesn't matter, does it? It's like Captain Ahab and Moby Dick. They both go down at the end. And you can decide who's Captain Ahab and Moby Dick, who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. But I think that's all pretty clear here, ladies and gentlemen, that this is the collapse of the globalist narrative. I watched all these senators and Congress people yesterday, and then when I was watching the War Room, when I was here working, and then at night, I stayed up till, went to bed at first for about an hour to rest, and I got back up and worked about 4 hours, and went back to sleep a few hours. But I was watching the hearings on Epstein's murder, and the senators are like, and the Democrats were saying this too, no one believes us anymore, total loss of faith, everyone thinks there's pedophile rings running everything, and the system's screwed. Yes, you're screwed. It's over. We all know you're devil worshippers, okay? We know you're blood-drinking, child-raping vampires. You don't live forever, but the demons in you do live on body to body. So see, the archetype's real. These are quasi-immortal, blood-sucking demons. All right, let me do my best here to tell you what we're going to be laying out and start getting right into it. Obviously, the clown train that is the fake impeachment third round of public hearings now didn't just derail. It exploded as it went off the edge of a cliff. But Schiff continues to put his confidence act up because they're posing like they're the leaders, they're in charge, and Trump did something wrong. And it diverts everyone and takes all the oxygen out of the room for all the real crimes of the Democrats and the globalists, and how they're trying to plunge the economy, how they're siding with China against us in the trade war, the whole Epstein inferno that's burning him to the ground. It's on every network. It's everywhere. And it's literally setting the precedent that if Trump tries to engage in any foreign policy himself instead of a consortium of governmental bureaucrats who interface with think tanks, well, that's illegal. That's what I've said. We're ruled by interlocking boards of think tanks who build consensus on globalism and the sellout of the country. That's actually in the news today. Impeachment hearings raise questions. Who's in charge of U.S. foreign policy? Trump or interagency consensus, close quote. Because the human mole rat, he looks like a mole rat. He is a globalist mole. He's not a whistleblower. Vitamin, and all his arrogance, and I'm Lieutenant Colonel, that's what you call me. And bug-eyed Schiff and all the rest of them. They are moles. So I'll be getting to those clips. You know, I know the globalists are into Satanism because it's about their power and about them willing to do extreme things and about corrupting those around them and getting them to be compromised like they are so they can trust them. And in these reports that an FBI agent and others got killed just this year, that's why it's coming out now, being leaked to True Pundit, the original interviews. That's why the operatives come in to the big accountants at the big accounting firm and they say, all right, have sex with this 8-year-old. And of course the couple doesn't want to do it, but they say, hey, you see the box over there on the wall? That's the camera. Have sex if you want this deal. And by the way, we got your blood. It's already been planted at a crime scene. We'll have you indicted anytime we want. Have sex with the kid. And that's exactly what they do. And they have compromised so many people. First, they get you to cheat and manipulate. And then you get a few $1 million for the billions you manipulate and say the Pentagon budget. But that's not enough. You might turn state's evidence. You might not go to jail if you expose what they've done. But none of you and your wife have had sex with an 8-year-old boy. You're never going to talk about that. And if you did, it'd be so horrible, no one would want to believe it, and they'd want to cover it up. Just like the Catholic Church. The deputy pope got convicted of trafficking over 100 little boys as young as age 5 up to about age 14. And they would tell the other people in the seminary, you have sex with kids or you're not going to be a priest. Just like the Boy Scouts, just like Penn State, just like Boys Town, just like everything. Most of these people don't even want to do it. You know, I've been told by people that were abused by Bill Clinton, not just Kathy O'Brien, but others, stuff that's in this report that never has been published and never been known. And I've researched other real Satanism files that the public hasn't seen. Some of them have come out recently in the Finders, and it's exactly what they do. But you add the dead FBI agent and the others that have been killed that were investigating it, that's when you really know it's real. But you listen to this poor man, he's now 26 years old, being raped since he's age 3. It's on newswars.com and Infowars.com. And it's exactly what I was told. Like, Bill Clinton didn't want to cut the children. He just wanted to have sex with them. And they've got the women different ages, from little girls up to women, on pedestals. And then they have chalices and gather their blood and then drink it. That's exactly the type of rituals. I even know the name of that ritual. But this is the real deal, folks. The real deal. And so when you wonder, why are they so evil? Why are they so bad? Because evil had to recruit a cohort, a cadre, a legion of evil that would carry out the post-human world, that would poison their own species, that would put up the electromagnetic systems that give us cancer, that would feed us the GMO, that would destroy our attention spans, that would deploy computers and systems designed to destroy our very humanity and make us depressed and control us. And that's all admitted by Silicon Valley. It's the apple, the knowledge of evil, that Eve gave Adam. And what is Apple's symbol? Made in slave factories and enslaving your mind. It's an apple with a bite out of it. The knowledge of good was there, how to be good, how to be just, but then it was the knowledge of manipulation and corruption and how to control and how to feed on fellow humans and how to keep people stupid so you dominate them. And so we're now being force-fed the apple. And then to live in the system, in this new environment, we're going to have to hurt fellow humans and do bad things and trample on others so that there's no one left at the end to stand up for ourselves, and humanity is atomized and separated and defeated. Can you guys pull up the logo of Apple, please? What an evil symbol in your face, the apple of forbidden knowledge. The apple of the knowledge of good and evil. Just give me document cam shots as best we can. It's all right. I mean, this is all just right out in the open, ladies and gentlemen. Because they metaphysically have to put it out in the open. And what is it? It's a poison apple. What does the witch in Snow White give the young prepubescent girl who's going into puberty? She goes to the mirror and she says, "Who's the fairest of the all?" It's not you. And she wants that essence. She wants the girl's heart cut out. It'd be too much if she wanted to drink the blood or bathe in the blood. So she wants the woodsman to cut the heart out. And then when that doesn't work, she pours her hatred and her essence into a poison and puts it into the apple so that she can trick her and get her to bite into it and put her into a deep trance so she doesn't know who she is, the real queen, the real goddess of the future. But only a prince, a man standing up for her who loves her, can free her. But we're not going to free the little girls and little boys, are we? We're going to let the witch sit there and torture the living hell out of them.
Four media giants are banding together to take down controversial Infowars content from their site.
YouTube, Facebook, and Apple all announcing they're removing his content from their platforms.
How did you decide to ban Alex Jones?
What users want from us, and what we've always provided them, is a curated platform. We think that what the user wants is someone that does review these apps, someone that does review the podcasts, someone that on like Apple News, where a human is selecting the top stories. And that's what we do. We don't take a political stand. We're not leaning one way or the other. You can tell that from the stuff on the App Store and in podcasts, et cetera. You'll see everything from very conservative to very liberal. And that's the way I think it should be.
But at what point were you like, okay, that's it, Alex Jones has to go?
I don't really get into a singular kind of event, but I think there's enough there that reasonable people could agree that if you're going to curate, that should be all.
Looking live there at the White House lawn, Alex Jones, the controversial host, Trump supporter, out there with a bullhorn, and that's what you heard earlier.
President Trump's done a great job rebooting this country, but he hasn't stood up against big tech and the censorship. Big tech has been caught in undercover videos and their own documents and whistleblowers, suppressing the speech of Christians and conservatives and veterans. And the left is planning on using this to steal the next election. President Trump must take action against big tech racketeering right now. President Trump must enforce the First Amendment and Section 230 of the Telecommunications Act and stop big tech from being censored. The American people demand that their First Amendment be defended.
Wow, look at that. That was 3 months ago. And as you can see, I've lost, for a TV viewer, more than 30 pounds because I'm taking DNA Force Plus, I'm taking X2 and X3, and, ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking Gut Fusion, Fiber, and Glutamine. So incredibly good for the body. counters what the globalists are doing. And I'm working out the same amount, but I am religiously taking the supplements, taking the fish oil, especially at night when I go to bed. These are really high-quality products that will make your life better, and they fund this operation. Now, Trump is coming to town today. He'll be here in about 2 hours and 40 minutes. I will be ducking out. Coming up in the third hour, Tom Pappert's going to take over to break huge news that goes right to the heart of the system and what makes them operate and how to bring them down. And then Mike Adams is hosting the fourth hour, and I'll be popping in on there as well. Trump is coming to North Austin to the Apple subcontractor. In fact, we can put that address maybe a little bit later on screen. It's up off Palmer Lane off 183 near Mopac. And already we're going to have Will Johnson and others out there with the crew. I think they're there by now. You've got a bunch of Antifa and a bunch of globalists there protesting Trump. Well, I'm going to be there with a message for them, but also a message for Trump. I don't want to say I'm protesting Trump, but I'm going to be protesting Apple moving most of its jobs to China, Apple helping censor the American people and the Chinese people, and helping block Vietnamese and, of course, Taiwanese and, of course, Hong Kong flags, all three of those flags. They don't just like to have being able to be sent because it's seen as solidarity with Vietnam that China's at war with. And it's seen as solidarity with Hong Kong and Taiwan. So you can't send those symbols. That's been in the news. And now the Chi-Coms have invaded Hong Kong. They burned up the Epic Times there. We're going to get to all of that start of the next hour. So that's where this fight is. And Jared Kushner, who I'm not an enemy of, I don't buy into the hype that he's this bad guy just because he bought a building for twice its price at 666 Park Avenue in New York, or just because his dad went to prison for really bizarre behavior. And I want to think the best of Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. I'm just told that they're big leftists, and I know they hang out constantly with Tim Cook, and that they're coming today with Daddy and Tim Cook. And, you know, Apple's really a corrupt, evil company. And they said a year and a half ago in Reuters, we've merged with the Chinese government, and their intelligence agencies have the Apple code keys to all of your Apple devices. So if you think Huawei's bad, and that's Chinese communist run, well, so is Apple. It's a globalist partnership against America, and they see it as very woke to be against the country and against the U.S. And they think we're done because they've already bought off the establishment, and they think Trump's just a speed hump to what they're doing. So I've always made the joke that, you know, if Trump's cleaning out the goblins in the swamp in Mordor, he's going to have some goblin guides. He's going to have to be around some goblins. I just don't want to see him kissing goblins. I don't want to see him succubus with goblins. I don't want to see him in bed with a goblin. And unless he repudiates him some for his censorship and what he's doing and tells him to stop it and makes some move in that direction, then Trump is, to a great extent, even though he's trying to promote Apple having a few factories move back here, this is one of the few. I get that's a positive thing, but they've got hundreds in China and maybe one or two that are still open. I know they had 3, but I heard one of them closed. I think it's like 2 factories that actually manufacture things. And I'm glad that this factory's there and has 15,000 employees. It's at 5,000 now, about to ramp up, we're told by Tim Cook. So that's a good thing, but he's in bed with a goblin. And if anybody is goblin-like or Gollum-like, it would be Tim Cook with those big old saucer eyes, whatever he's on. Maybe he's got a brain chip. No one's sure. So that's coming up. But seriously, the globalists are breathing down my neck. They want to shut this operation down. They've shut most people down. They've done all sorts of dirty tricks, all the fake lawsuits. We can continue Infowars and other permutations and do a lot of things that will keep this message on the air and even stronger. But I can tell you, everybody needs fish oil. Everybody needs protein bars. Everybody needs high quality, energy boost. 10-hour clean energy is what Turbo Force is. Great nootropic brain force. Everybody needs to be on DNA Force Plus with the best PQQ and CoQ10 and all the great things it does. Everybody needs to be on a good clean atomic iodine. We've got several great types. Everybody needs really good tooth whitening toothpaste. Nobody else has got it with this nano silver. We have the other one with the iodine super blue. Those are both proprietary and amazing. If you'll just get things you need that are top of the line and great, it'll fund the operation and we'll be here. But I got to tell you, I've been on air 25 years, and the stuff going on is an existential threat. And if Infowars is taken off the air, so many big stories that broke that have really wounded the globalist wouldn't break, and in the future won't break. So they want to take this operation down. So take action, InfoWarsStore.com today, and get in there and get some of the products. I suggest DNA Force and X2 and or X3 and Selenium. Those are the type of things that most people have no idea what they'll do for you. You're either deficient in it or you've never experienced real PQQ or CoQ10. If you don't know what PQQ and CoQ10 do, just get a bottle of DNA Force Plus. It's very expensive to get good PQQ and CoQ10. We have both the best types in it, a lot of other high-quality ingredients. Similar brands of this would be $300, $400 because they mark it up a lot. You know, if somebody's putting $50 a product in a bottle, they're going to mark it up to $200. Well, we don't do that. I made an even better deal and made huge purchases of DNA Force in a 2-year contract. It comes in every 3 months to be able to bring it to you for the price of $125. But right now it's $74, ladies and gentlemen. And I got the price down from close to $50 a bottle to lower than that, so I can do this and still fund our operation. But you're not going to get PQQ and CoQ10 in a formula like this anywhere near this price. So it's a total 360 complete win. In fact, when we reformulated, we made it even stronger and better when I got the new deal to get it at less the price than I have. But again, I had to sign a 2-year contract. That contract is almost up. I've got to renegotiate it in February, and we're going to have to never do a price like this, or I'm going to have to raise the price or something like that, and then not do as big a discounts, because that is really unprecedented. Okay, we're going to go to break, and Tom Pappert of National File, great investigative journalist and TV station manager. He's working with a lot of former investigative journalists from Breitbart and other groups who were just too hardcore. You know, once the takeover of Breitbart happened, nothing against Breitbart. They're just not as hardcore as they used to be. At least they're free speech. And we understand what happened to them. We understand how the globalists operate. But it's pretty much, you know, do this, we're going to kill you. When you say, okay, we'll do what you got to do. Just hope I don't see you coming. But we're going to break Pelosi news that's the biggest ever and goes to the heart of who and her son really are, and this could bring this monster down. You talk about Me Too movement, you talk about fraud, you talk about criminal activity, you talk about her son using the Speaker of the House's power illegally. They've caught them red-handed. We have the video, the audio, the text messages, everything. Tom Pappert is going to be hosting the 4th hour today, so he can go through large parts of this hour-long breakdown that is absolutely vital to go viral. And it is going viral right now as we speak. Pelosi's son, ex-girlfriend, claims he forced abortion, abuse, weaponizing CPS, massive fraud. And then she's got the text messages, the video, all of it. This guy tries to deny it's even his girlfriend, or that one of the children's probably his. And he's, again, putting his own children in foster care and threatened her to do that and then did it. So this was what goes on in the kingdom of Nancy Pelosi. And imagine if Brett Kavanaugh had actually done this. So we have to go after these people for the real things they're doing. Trump's not going to do it. The Justice Department's probably not going to do it for a while. We have to lead. You know, we led exposing Jeffrey Epstein. Now it's all over the news. Now Congress admits it. I'll play some clips of that in a moment. But Tom Pappert will be here in the 3rd hour, and he is obviously not going to have time to air the entire hour-long interview. It's linked up on Infowars.com. Big article, big investigative report by Patrick Howley, nationalfile.com. Again, it's a great site. This is a 12-page investigative report, and it is going super viral out there right now. We've also added to this article on Infowars the live feed, so that when people are tuned in, they can also find the article and hear more about this and understand what's going on. But that's why all the censorship is taking place. Now, remember, just 16 months ago, it was Alex Jones being censored, and it was only going to be him. And then it was Republican members of Congress being censored by Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. And then it was, again, the Taiwanese and the Hong Kong and other emojis by Apple, because China said, we don't want their flags available. And clicking their heels, they said, yes, sir. Well, now it's Eric Ciaramella, even though you're supposed to be public and senators have said his name. Oh, no, but now we're told there isn't a whistleblower, or he's not the whistleblower. Schiff met with the whistleblower, is very impressed. Oh, I never met with a whistleblower. And Vitamin getting caught lying. People are like, why aren't you covering the impeachment? We're into 3 weeks of crap. It's totally staged. It's ridiculous. We already know all this. We're tomorrow's news today. But look at this article. Facebook blocks post on Dem support for border fence. It's an article with a video of Democrats saying we need a border fence up until Trump got in. And they just blocked it. That's control of history, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, Google said the Republican Party's main affiliation is Nazis on Google. And Trump does nothing. He'll be hanging out with Tim Cook today, who runs the worst factories on the planet with suicide deaths. And again, I'm a big supporter of Trump. Glad it's not Hillary. But when it comes to saying he's going to take action on big tech censorship, it's coming. It's going to be strong action. You heard that, 6 months ago. Where is it? Where is it? And now Turning Point USA. And the rest of them are acting worse than leftists, blocking whole groups of people from coming and asking questions at their events. And Trump signed an executive order saying he'll take money away from universities if they let groups do that. So the neocons and ever-Trumpers are taking over Trump. And so if you want to know why people like Matt Drudge are pissed at him, there's your answer. I mean, Drudge links to my super hardcore stuff. Trump, why are you saying you're for red flag laws? Better not do that. Hey, Trump, do something about censorship or we're done with you. He would top link that. That's Drudge's message to the president. Now, I'm not going to abandon the president, but there's a split here. Because if you support him and then he's like Hillary light, well, if Hillary was in, she wouldn't have gotten away with this, I think. And I'm glad she got beaten. And we'll talk about that more. But Tom, you're taking over just like an hour and 8 minutes from now. The third hour, I'm going up to deliver my message up there in North Austin at the big Apple facility. We'll put that address on screen for you here in a minute for TV viewers. I'll give that out. But everybody should come out there. And there'll be a bunch of leftists, too. And just let Trump know that, hey, we're glad that you are moving a few factories back to the U.S. That's wonderful. Pat Tim Cook on the head for that. But it's like we need him to get off the neck of the First Amendment. But separately, let's get into National File on this huge report and some of the clips and what's coming up next hour.
Well, Alex, I want to say that you're right. I mean, there is this massive discrepancy in this country. Like the GDP is growing, the stock market is up. Oh, boy. Meanwhile, people like you, people like millions of Americans are being censored. Some people are losing their jobs because of this censorship. So it's very ironic. And it does feel at times like President Trump is being co-opted by the neocons in his midst. And I think you warned that that could very well happen all the way back in 2017. So I just want to commend you on your foresight and your honesty for actually telling it like it is.
But I mean, Tom, national flags aren't allowed on the AI watching what you're doing. Now people that import them are having trouble sending them. Now you can't play clips of Obama and Hillary saying we need a wall. I mean, Facebook blocks that. I mean, that's come on, folks. Come on.
Well, it's absolutely in your face. I mean, yesterday, a bunch of websites got dinged for fake news for covering the impeachment fiasco, which is boring. I mean, it's honestly one of the most boring things you could cover because it's so predictable. We all know what they're going to do. But as everybody knows, Schiff essentially admitted that the witness from yesterday did speak to the Sierra Mella whistleblower. It didn't come out and say directly.
And then he lied and said, I don't know the whistleblower.
Exactly. And Facebook says that if you speculate, if you say, what does that mean? Then you are committing the cardinal sin of fake news and you'll be kicked off the platform, which is why in National File, I mean, we drew everything we can. And I really appreciate your support to not be entirely dependent on social media. And of course, I can't give those secrets away because then they'll be stolen from us. But articles like this are why they don't want us to be on these platforms. I mean, we have the ex-girlfriend who we spent a solid week vetting. We've talked to her lawyers. We've done extensive research on every single person she mentioned in the hour-long interview, and it is all completely rock solid. This woman has been, in my opinion,
she has photos and text messages and videos and audio. I mean, she has him.
Right. I mean, going back years and years of photos with her children growing up in the presence of Paul Pelosi Jr., who they referred to as Daddy. That is before Paul Pelosi Jr. decided, allegedly, that he got everything he could from this woman, threw her under the bus, allegedly stole her big, beautiful apartment building from her, stole it out from under her, is allegedly growing marijuana in the basement. I mean, it's as insane as it could possibly be. And you you sit there and you think this can't be real. And then I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the photos that Patrick Howley got at nationalfile.com, and I'm like, this is him. You can see him in the videos. You can see him when he's going and he's talking about his new energy company, and he was using clips of his mom. One of the biggest bombshells in this entire thing, and it's just bombshell after bombshell after bombshell. I highly recommend everybody you read the article. It's almost 4,000 words. It shows you what
these sociopathic, psychopathic monsters are like, and the way they operated, and what they do, and what they do to people around them.
Well, in the way they grift. So one of the biggest bombshells is Paul Pelosi. Allegedly, what he will do is he sets up these shell companies that never are designed to actually make a product. They're never designed to succeed. They're designed to take money from gullible people. So he'll call someone on the phone and say, hi, allegedly, this is what happens. Hi, I'm Paul Pelosi, and this is my mom's office calling. You know, Nancy Pelosi, she's the Speaker of the House, and we have an investment opportunity for you. So please give me $1 million, and you too can be involved in a Ukrainian oil company. And so then the gullible people do it. They give him money. This is what the ex-girlfriend says she saw over the course of years and years and years. It never ends. And so this is way more flagrant than anything that we've heard before. We did the bombshell piece a couple months ago, or just last month, I think it was, where we exposed that Paul Pelosi had big ties to a company that did business in Ukraine, just like Joe Biden did with Hunter Biden. So as you said, Alex, this is kind of a window into the world of the elite. They use people. They beat people. There's one account of, she says that while Paul Pelosi was reportedly taking the oven out of her apartment, stealing it from her, essentially ripping out her kitchen, he enlisted the help of a homeless man. This homeless man was then crushed under the oven, and Paul Pelosi sat there and did nothing, and she's screaming, you help him, he's going to die. The man says, I'm going to get my head split open. This is going to kill me. And Pelosi reportedly says, so what? This is the callous nature of these people. They don't view people like you and me.
And that's why they like the drugged out zombies all around them. This makes them feel good to see people in piles of feces. You have to understand, folks, they just gleefully, they fly around in helicopters. You're like, why would he be ripping a stove out? They want everything. They love the act of stealing, dominating, humiliating, because that's what they are, literal demons. And you've got all the audio, all the video, the text messages, and then what he did to this woman, taking her kids away, putting them in foster care, and saying in the text messages, I'm going to do this to you. This is what this monster does.